Hello, my friends. It is so good to have you here tonight. Take a moment. Take a deep breath. Imagine you are sitting with me by a warm fire. Outside, the world is busy and loud, but here, it is quiet. Have you ever looked in the mirror in the morning? Maybe you put a little color on your lips. Maybe you cover a spot on your skin. Or maybe you just look at your reflection and wonder, who am I today? We often think of makeup as something modern. We think of bright shops, plastic bottles, and famous people on the internet. But my friends, have you ever stopped to wonder, where did it all begin? The story of makeup is not a story about vanity. Vanity is when someone cares too much about their looks. No, this is a story about being human. It is a story about our need to speak without using words. Since the very beginning of time, humans have used color and paint to tell the world who they are. They used it to show their power, to talk to their gods, and to feel safe. Today, we use makeup to feel pretty. But for our ancestors, it was much more than that. It was a shield. It was a prayer. It was a way to belong to a group. So tonight, let's go back. Let's go far back into the mists of time. We are going to travel through thousands of years. We will see how a little bit of color changed the way we see ourselves. Let's begin our journey. Imagine a land of golden sand and a bright, burning sun. We are in ancient Egypt over 5,000 years ago. In Egypt, makeup was not just for women. Everyone used it. Rich people, poor people, men and women. Why? Because in Egypt, beauty was godly. If you looked clean and beautiful, you were closer to the gods. The most famous part of Egyptian makeup was Kohl. Can you say that? Kohl. It was a dark, black powder. They used a small stick to put it around their eyes. Have you seen pictures of the famous Queen Cleopatra? Her eyes are always lined with deep, dark black. But Kohl was not just for style. The Egyptian sun was very, very strong. The black powder helped protect their eyes from the bright light. It was like the first pair of sunglasses. It also kept away tiny insects and eye infections. So, it was medicine and fashion at the same time. Next to the Egyptians, in a place called Mesopotamia, what we now call Iraq, people were also very creative. They were the first to use lipstick. But it wasn't in a tube like today. They crushed beautiful semi-precious stones into a fine dust. They put this dust on their lips to make them sparkle. It was a sign of great wealth. To these ancient people, makeup was a bridge between the human world and the world of the spirits. When they painted their faces, they felt protected. They felt powerful. They weren't just putting on a face, they were showing their soul to the sun. Now, let's travel across the sea to ancient Greece. The Greeks were very different from the Egyptians. They loved natural beauty. They believed that a healthy body was the most beautiful thing of all. In Greece, if you used too much makeup, people might think you were being dishonest. They liked a natural look. Women used a little bit of honey to keep their skin soft. They used crushed berries to give their cheeks a tiny bit of red color. It was very simple, very light. But then, we look at Rome. Oh, the Romans. Rome was a place of big buildings and big dreams. And for the Romans, makeup was a way to show how much money you had. Wealthy Roman women wanted skin that was as white as snow. Why? Because if your skin was white, it meant you did not have to work outside in the sun. It showed you were a lady of leisure, a person who stays inside and rests. To get this white skin, they used something called lead. This is very important, my friends. Lead is a heavy metal, and it is very poisonous. But back then, they didn't know. They put white lead powder on their faces every day. It made them look beautiful for a while, but slowly it made them sick. It ruined their skin and caused many health problems. Isn't it strange? For thousands of years, humans have been willing to put dangerous things on their bodies just to follow a trend. A trend is something that is popular for a short time. Even in ancient Rome, people were suffering for the sake of beauty. As the centuries passed, we entered the Middle Ages in Europe. This was a very different time. The church was very powerful. The leaders of the church said that makeup was a sin. They believed that if you changed your face, you were lying to God. Because of this, most women stopped wearing colorful makeup. A pure woman was supposed to have a clean, plain face. Beauty was seen as a danger, something that could lead people into trouble. But then, like a flower blooming after a long winter, the Renaissance arrived. The Renaissance was a time of art, science, and music, and makeup came back in a big way. The most famous example was Queen Elizabeth I of England. She had a very famous look, a face that was painted perfectly white and hair that was bright red. During this time, people still used that dangerous white lead. They also used rouge. Rouge is a French word for red. They put this red powder on their cheeks and lips. The goal was to look like a porcelain doll, still white and perfect. But there was a dark side. Because they used lead, their skin would get scars. To hide the scars, they put on more lead. It was a sad circle. They were trying to reach an ideal, a perfect image that was almost impossible to keep. We move forward to the 1700s, the Georgian era. This was the time of more is more. People wore giant wigs made of horsehair. They put white powder on their hair and their faces. Even men wore makeup. It was a time of parties and theater. If you were rich, you wanted everyone to see it on your face. But then, the world changed again. In the 1800s, Queen Victoria became the leader of England. She was a very serious woman. She believed that makeup was vulgar. Vulgar means something that is low class or rude. She said that only actors or bad women wore makeup. For almost 60 years, makeup disappeared from public life. If a woman wanted to look pretty, she had to be a secret agent. She would pinch her cheeks to make them red. She would bite her lips to make the blood come to the surface. She had to pretend she was wearing nothing at all. This was the age of natural virtue. It shows us how much our clothes and our faces are tied to what society thinks is good or bad. Now, my friends, we reach a turning point. The year is 1900. Everything is about to change. Two big things happened. First, factories started to make makeup in jars and tubes. This made it cheaper and easier to buy. Second, and most importantly, the movies were born. Imagine sitting in a dark theater. For the first time, you see a woman's face on a giant screen. Her eyes are dark, her lips are shaped like a heart, and her skin looks perfect. These were the movie stars. Women all over the world looked at them and said, "I want to look like that." A man named Max Factor, a name you might still see today, started making makeup specifically for film stars. He created the first foundation to make skin look smooth under the bright lights. In the 1920s, the flapper girl became famous. These were young women who wanted to be free. They cut their hair short. They wore dark eyeliner and bright red lipstick. For them, makeup was a scream of freedom. It said, "I am modern. I am independent." Makeup was no longer a secret. It was a global business. Brands like Maybelline and Revlon started selling product to every woman, not just the rich. The modern era had begun. After the Second World War in the 1950s, the world wanted to feel pretty again after so much sadness. This was the era of glamour. Think of Marilyn Monroe, perfect red lips, a cat eyeliner. This look was very feminine. It was about being a perfect housewife or a beautiful star. Makeup was a tool to look polished, which means neat and perfect. But then the 1960s arrived, the youth revolution. Young people didn't want to look like their mothers. They wanted to look like they came from outer space. They used bright colors, blue, green, and silver. They wore huge, fake eyelashes. Look at pictures of the model Twiggy. Her eyes look like large, beautiful flowers. In the 1970s, the punk movement used makeup to look scary or angry. They used black and neon colors to say, "I don't care what you think." You see, my friends, makeup became a language for rebellion. It wasn't just about being pretty anymore. It was about showing which tribe you belonged to. Are you a glamorous lady? Are you a space-age teen? Are you a punk rebel? Your face told the story. We move into the 1990s and the 2000s. The world became global. We started to learn from each other. We saw beauty secrets from Korea, from Brazil, from India. Today, we live in the age of the internet. We have social media. We have thousands of tutorials, videos that teach us how to do something. But something very beautiful is happening now. In the past, makeup had many rules. You must be white. You must be a woman. You must look natural. Today, those rules are breaking. We see people of all skin colors celebrating their unique beauty. We see men wearing makeup to express their artistic side. We see makeup that is bold and wild, like a painting on a canvas. We also care more about what is inside the bottle. Remember the poisonous lead from Rome? Today, we look for vegan and cruelty-free products. We want to be beautiful without hurting the planet or animals. Makeup has become an art form. It is no longer just a way to hide a flaw, a small mistake on the skin. It is a way to celebrate the face you were given. So, my friends, we have traveled a long way, from the black coal of the Egyptian desert to the bright lights of modern Hollywood. What have we learned? We have learned that makeup is a mirror of history. When the world is strict, makeup is hidden. When the world is free, makeup is colorful. When we are afraid, we use it as a shield. When we are happy, we use it to celebrate. But here is the most important part. Whether you wear a lot of makeup, or just a little, or none at all, the story is yours. Your face is a map of your life. Every line, every smile, and every color you choose to add is a part of your journey. Makeup is just a tool, like a brush is to a painter. It doesn't make you beautiful. My friends, you are already beautiful. The makeup just helps the world see the light that is already inside you. Next time you see a tube of lipstick or a jar of powder, think of the thousands of years of humans who came before you. Think of the Egyptian queens, the Roman ladies, and the Hollywood stars. You are part of that long human story. Thank you for sitting with me by the fire tonight. I hope you feel a little more connected to the history of the world and to the person you see in the mirror. Take care of yourselves, sleep well, and remember, the most beautiful thing you can wear is your own unique story. Goodbye for now.